Welcome to another session of the Chettinad School of Law's webinar series titled Discussion on Cybersecurity. Myself, Safia Sharon, I'm currently pursuing my BBA LLB honors at the Chettinad School of Law and I will be a moderator in the session. It is such a pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, Professor Dr. S. Lata ma'am. Thank you so much for being here with us, ma'am.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Satya. It's nice to join with you all
Thank you,
again
ma'am.
in this discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. To briefly introduce ma'am, she is currently working as an assistant professor for criminology in University of Madras. She is also the chairman in Institute of Criminological Research and Education Services. Ma'am is a founding member of Asian Criminological Society. She is a recipient of Best Research Award in University of Madras. She received ISE Professor S. Srivastava Award for the Best Researcher in Criminology from Indian Society of Criminology and ISE Fellow. She has published 9 books, 30 research articles in various national and international reputed journals. We are so honored and happy to have you here with us, ma'am, amidst your schedule. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharon, for this introduction.
Before we proceed with the session, I would like to briefly introduce Chettinad Academy of Research and Education and the Chettinad School of Law. The Chettinad Group, with over 60 years of education, have been pioneers in providing a progressive learning environment across Tamil Nadu. They are currently responsible for over 12,000 students in 22 private government-aided schools and colleges for medicine, dentistry, engineering, law, architecture, physiotherapy, nursing, allied health sciences, and pharmaceutical sciences. The Chettinad School of Law is recognized by Bar Council of India and approved by UGC and provides an environment that gives a high quality education through active learning methods, qualified and experienced faculty, and exposure through legal internships. The School of Law is a member of IUCN, Academy of Environmental Law and International Association of Law Schools. Without any further ado, can we proceed with the question, ma'am?
Yes, Sharon, we can proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. My first question is, ma'am, can you explain what is cybercrime?
Okay. So first, let me welcome all of you for this discussion. And I'm always glad to be associated with Chettinad School of Research. And I'm actually seeing a lot of discussions and webinars from your school. And they are all very informative. And hope this one is also very informative. So this one, the first question you asked, like, what is cybercrime, right?
Yeah,
So I hope that everybody will be knowing that this is the era that we live only with one particular new innovation, and that is called cyberspace, right? So when you have activities in the cyberspace, and naturally we evolve with crime. Like any development will follow with the crime, and so is the cybercrime. So what exactly is cybercrime? There is no exact definition for cybercrime. No law has defined what is cybercrime per se. But in practice, cybercrime is nothing but a crime committed using a computer as a tool or as a target. So when we commit a crime using a gadget similar to computer, any technological gadget, for example, now once computer was like it was a kind of a laptop. The evolution of computer was very fast. It started with supercomputer, and now we have come to chip-size computers. Okay, so any gadget which is similar to computer, which somebody uses for committing a crime, or somebody uses that as a tool to commit a crime. Not necessarily the crime should actually be done in the cyberspace, but they can use that cyberspace, or they can use the computer or the gadget to commit a crime. So then we call it as cyber crime. We have interrelated terms also. We call it as technological crime. We call it as the digital crime. We call it as electronic crime. So all these names are interchanged and used across the world. Okay, but everything relates to something called technology, and that technology is used in cyberspace, and the cyberspace is used in computer or computer-like gadgets, and any crime committed through the gadget similar to computer as a tool or target is known as cybercrime.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question that I would like to ask you is why legal professionals should be knowing about cyber crimes and cyber criminology?
Yeah, that's a very pertinent question. Like when I go to many law colleges, in fact, nowadays, like almost all the law colleges and law universities, they started introducing papers on digital forensics or cyber crime, something like that. or even cyber criminology or criminology. So sometimes they have a confusion on why we need to know about cyber crime, a specific type of crime. For example, nobody is going to teach you on what is murder. Nobody is going to teach you on what is a theft. Nobody is going to teach you on what is organized crime in a special paper, in an exclusive paper. And nobody is going to teach you on white collar crime in an exclusive paper. But in most of the places now, we started having a paper on cyber crime or cyber criminology or digital evidence, something similar to that. So students have a doubt that why do we need to study this cyber crime? Fine. See, anyways, all of you are going to encounter some case in the court, be it civil or criminal. All of you are going to encounter a case in the court, right? That is what is the profession of a legal practitioner. Okay. So nowadays, any evidence is going to be turned uh, as a digital evidence or as an electronic evidence. Even a contemporary form of crime, I mean, even a what is it, old form of crime will also be committed in a new form using a digital space. So your evidences will be based on digital space or a cyber space. So if you want to appreciate an evidence, if you want to create an argument on a digital evidence, then it is essential that you need to know what is cyber crime, what are the various types of cyber crimes, how these cyber crimes can be committed, what are the modalities of committing a cyber crime, okay, and how the court law. Any more, if you want to counter argue on any crime or whatever be, it is essential that the legal professionals should be knowing something about cyberspace or the digital era or the types of crimes happening in the cyberspace, etc. Then only it will be able to, argue in the court of law.
Thank you, ma'am. The other question that I want to address to you is, what are the various type of cyber crimes that are happening across the world?
Okay. See, there are various types of cyber crimes. We cannot name one or two, but there are some. I mean, normally we categorize cyber crimes into, again, cyber crimes against a person, cyber crimes against a property, and then cyber crimes against nation. And one specific type of cyber crimes which we included, which is not in the other types of crimes, is cyber crimes against organizations. So we normally classify cyber crimes in these four angles. Okay. So, like, what are the major types of crimes happening across the globe very randomly now? Is like, for example, ransomware. Everybody will be knowing about the term ransomware last year because most of the computers and organizations were attacked and they were actually claimed for a ransom. Okay, so what is a ransomware? They try to attack your computer of an organization, of an individual, and then they try to hold your data. They capture your data and then they make you not to access the data. Okay. And if you want to access some data, they leave a message to you stating that if you want to access this data, you have to pay this amount of money to us as bitcoins or cryptocurrencies. So this is one of the types of crimes which is actually very popular nowadays across the world. And as everyone know, like phishing. Phishing is a pattern of crime where people are trying to cheat. Like, like if I want to get some data from you, if I want to steal some data from you, or if I want to steal some money through your credit card or through your financial transactions, and the better way is like phishing a person and trying to commit a crime. So phishing is like a kind of bogus website, creating a bogus website. For example, if you have a particular bank account, and when you log into the bank account, you will get a web page that is very similar to that bank web page. For example, I have a bank account with State Bank of India. So I think that I am doing a internet transaction through the SBI website because we don't know like what are the security features we need to look into before logging into a particular financial transaction website. So we log in and we think that we are into the page of SBI, but sometimes that will be a phishing site that is similar to the SBI website which you work, and you will be phished with your username, password, and that will make a person to transfer money from your account. Okay, so phishing can happen in any type. For example, like you're using Facebook. So I know people, I know the students who try to create phishing website in Facebook. Like they will create a similar website in order to hack. Hacking. In order to hack, they will create a similar website that is similar to Facebook. So it is easy that we can create such Facebook links and float out to the people, and without knowledge they can try to click on the phished website, and when they go into that, then they will become a prey for a lot of social media crimes. Or through the social media portal, you can also commit a lot of other cyber crimes also. Most of the times now, cyber crimes happens through the social media platforms. So it is easy to fish the social media platforms. Okay, so phishing is one type. And then like hacking is well known and world known. Okay, all of you should be knowing what is hacking. Hacking is nothing but unauthorized access of a particular computer or a particular data. For example, now Sherin is having a computer, and there are so many ways that I can access her computer. Like the way will be first, like she can give her password. We always have the habit, like sharing our passwords to our children, or sharing our passwords to our parents or to our friends for emergency purposes. Like we will give our PIN number. See, for emergency, use this PIN number or password like that. So one is like to us and accessing. Okay, so that will not amount to hacking. But when the user has not given the password or whatever be, or access to a particular computer or a system, if I break the system to access the data, that is unauthorized access. I'm not authorized to access this particular data, but I break into the system either by breaking the password or like cracking the mode. I try to access the data from a person's computer or personal gadgets. So that amounts to hacking. Okay. So what all hacking can be done? What damages hacking can be done? Hacking can create any number of damages, from personal information sharing to others to financial transaction vulnerabilities. Okay. So hacking is a very common cybercrime that happens across the globe. Okay. So then, what are the other types of crimes? For example, data theft. Okay, a company has a typical data which is very valuable for the company. For example, trade secrets or copyright issues, or a kind of like what is it? All kind of IPR issues. It is there in the computers. I mean, organization's computer. So if an employee, the employee can be an insider. Normally, threat comes from insider or outsider, and it is found that most of the time the organization have the vulnerability of insiders. So insider threat is one of the aspects. So the insider might try to steal the data from the computer. So data theft can be done by anybody. For example, one of the examples happened is like a person who was working in the bank. So what he did, he wanted to have a cup of tea. So what he was doing, he logged into the page every day. A particular banker is supposed to log in the page using their credentials. So what happened? He used the credentials, he logged on the page, and then he went for a cup of tea during the tea time. So the neighbor banker, whoever was sitting there, he tried to came to his computer, access some data, stole some data. In the case of this data theft, normally in the case of other thefts, you will see the particular object will be missing. But in the case of data theft, it will not be known many times at all. For example, I can sit to your computer in your absence, I can steal your data, I can either post it or I can share it to the competitive companies or whatever be. It will not be known many times. So data theft is another kind of crime. And then like data misappropriation. Okay, there is an amount of data which is kept in a computer or a gadget, and somebody can misappropriate that particular data. He is not supposed to do certain activities in the data. For example, like any kind of thing, like data misappropriation. And then like we call something called data diddling. What is data diddling? Like I'm sitting in a computer and I have an access to the my immediate boss or somebody's computer. Okay, so what I do, he's trying to do a kind of auction. Imagine he's going for an auction, or they are actually submitting a kind of tender. So in the case of tender, what will happen? Whoever is quoting the lowest will be selected normally. Okay, so what I can do is, if I want to be benefited from the opposite company or competitive company, and I'm paid for that. If I'm an insider who is a threat for the company, I can very well manipulate the data. So data manipulation or data diddling. So that is another form of crime. So this is all not known to the public normally. They'll be thinking the data is there. Who is going to change the data, or who is going to commit a theft on the data? But it can be done by anyone next to you, or the person who is accessing the gadget, or the person who is sitting somewhere else and trying to hack your account. So that is one thing. Well, and what are the other types, like as you know, like cyber stalking. Cyber stalking and cyber bullying has become a very common type of crime which are against women and children. in social media. Okay, normally bullying happen in schools or colleges, wherever we go. Like they bully the child. Bullying is a type of crime. So the same type of normal crime has now moved into the cyber platform, and cyber stalking. What is stalking? Like following a person without the knowledge of the person and trying to irritate the person through various means, or trying to create harm because of that following. Like all our movies have actually portrayed this kind of stalking in a very comical way. The heroes will normally follow the heroines, they will sing songs, and then they will try to make the girl fall in love on them. So these are all a kind of stalking. Normally, it is not actually acceptable. Okay, so if the girl wants to complain, she can very well complain about the boy. But those kind of stalkings are now happening in the cyberspace. So cyber stalking is another form of crime which is against women and children, but doesn't mean it only pertains to women and children. Sometimes even girls also stalk men. Okay, so stalking is another form. Then cyber bullying, as I said, and then like cyber defamation. Okay, cyber defamation is trying to defame a person's character, a person's image. For example, take examples of all our memes. Many of the memes, they are best examples of defamation. So what do our memes carry? Our memes carry many times targeting some celebrity, be it a politician, be it a cinema actor, or some kind of X and Y who is the celebrity. So what they do, they post a meme against a person, against their look. For example, shaming on their look, how do their hair look, how do their color look, how do their personality look, something like they shaming them, how do they talk. So everything is like it has come in the platform of meme, like meme makers or meme creators. That is a kind of job now evolving. In fact, every company has got their own meme makers, and every celebrity have got their own meme makers. So this memes become a place for cyber defamation. For example, imagine there is a company, and that company has a specific brand. You should be knowing lot of memes coming like don't drink particular cool drink. If you drink this particular cool drink, then you will become it is a kind of poison, then you will die. Or if you take this cool drink along with this particular dose of medicine or whatever be, then it will turn as a kind of what is it, poison, and you will die. So these are all something which is propaganda against the company which is having a particular market in the field. So the competitive company want to reduce the market of the particular company, so they try to damage the company's name. Okay, for example, you will be normally seeing whenever we buy a product, nowadays we give our email or online details. So what happens the moment you buy a product and come, you will get a message, rank the product. Okay, for example, I buy a Nokia phone. So it will be like they will ask you to rank. Even this ranks actually have a value for a marketing on the company. So when you actually try to damage a company, then it becomes a kind of cyber defamation. Especially when you don't have any valid reason or evidence, you try to defame someone, then it amounts to a crime. Okay, so cyber defamation. Fine. So apart from that, what will happen? We have something called cyber terrorism. Okay, terrorism is like creating a kind of terror, a fear among the public or fear on the government or whatever be. Okay, so this terrorism is now taken the space in cyber space. Okay, so cyber terrorism, and then like cyber war. Nowadays, like countries are not going to go for even people predict that the world war is not going to be the world war against the countries using the armies or whatever be. They feel that the war is going to be only through the cyberspace or digital space. Okay, so like cyber war can be created. Like for example, it can be created by stopping your electronic grid. Imagine a country which uses the electronic gadgets for everything. For example, from your closure of your doors to opening of the water to switching on the AC from a remote place. We have come with remote gadgets, remote operations. So imagine you're stopping the operation of a particular area or particular grid in a particular number of hours, then it will also amount to damage for the people and for the government. Imagine a bank is not able to function for 10 hours due to power loss. If the bank is not able to function for 10 hours, then it will become a huge loss, okay, for the country. So similarly, the war can be now in digital space, and cyber war is another type of crime. Okay, so these are all various types of crimes apart from one major cluster of crimes called social media crimes. Crimes do happen in social media space, so that is another cluster of crimes. Okay, so these are some major types of crimes apart from some of your burglary. You can say online burglary is another type. people will be thinking like, how come burglary can be online? See what happens? Normally in social media, we keep posting status. Like what kind of status we post? I'm residing in a particular area, so that is normally shown in the location. Where whenever we post, we keep our location on, so we show that where we are actually residing. So what we do, we post our location. We also show our house. We also let know the criminals on the what is it, on the cyberspace, that how many people are living in our home. For example, like we post a family picture stating that my mother, my father, etc., etc. And we also give a clue when we go out of the place. For example, I go for a vacation. I go for a vacation to Shimla. Okay. So what happens? Going out on vacation to Shimla, I put a status. So I have given enough clue to the burglars that this is my house, this is the street of my house, and then like my family is this, and all the family members have moved to Shimla for the purpose of vacation. Okay, so this gives a clue to the burglars, and in Western countries, online burglary has become a new trend. So these are something. And then like, okay, money mules in the sense transacting the black money into white money through online media. So what happens many times, the youngsters, even without their knowledge, they become the victims of money mules. What they do, for example, nowadays now we work at home, right? So many people want to work at home and earn money. So in order to work at home and earn money, they try to look lot of marketing options, etc., etc. You market a product without knowing that this product is a legitimate product to be marketed, or you transact the money without knowing that this is a legitimate money. So money mules and then drug mules, they also have online media or cyberspace. So these are some examples of cyberspace happening across the globe. But we have n number of cyber crimes. All the crimes which are happening normally in the outside the cyberspace now have moved towards the cyberspace, and we have specific criminals operating in the cyberspace.
Moving on to the next question, whether COVID has increased the risk of cybercrime and threat to cybersecurity. If yes, how much?
Whether COVID has increased the risk of cybercrime, there are mixed type of answers for this. Like actually saying it has increased the risk of cybercrime or risk of information security. Okay, rather saying cybercrime, we can say risk of information security, because now all of us have moved using the online space at home. For example, normally an employee will work at home and they will, I mean, work in the office, and they will use the office internet or office gadget to work on the particular, target or project. But now what happens? People move to their own home to work at home and to give some productivity, because the companies cannot remain idle, and they have to complete their projects. They have to give some productivity. They have to pay for their employees. So automatically the companies are moving into work at home. So what happens? Most of the time, these employees, they try to access their own gadgets or their own computers. But how far their computers are secured, their gadgets are secured, will be the answer for how far the COVID can increase the risk of cybercrime. For example, I use a gadget, I use the laptop for all social media, conversations, social media platforms. And then like what happens, like I also use the same for the company purpose, where the huge data is being accessed, company's data is being accessed. So when my social media account get compromised, there is a possibility that the company's data also can be compromised. Okay, yesterday what happened in Monash University, there was a crime. There was a girl, a student, who actually logged into an online platform, like what we are doing now. Now we are accessing the online platform, one particular online platform. Okay, so this girl also used one particular online platform for her class. So immediately after accessing this online platform or online class, she got a message. She got a message that like you have got a product to be delivered. For example, we buy online products, right? So like you have a product to be delivered to you, and we need your particulars. So immediately what she did, she gave all her particulars. The moment she gave the particulars, this particular person, she called this girl to a independent room, closed room, and he wanted him to come on a video conference. So when she went into inside the room, and when she switched on the video conference, there was a person who was actually wearing. In fact, before doing that, the person gave a phone number, which is the phone number of the Chinese police. You know, like as we have 100, they also have a number, emergency response number. So this person gave an emergency response number stating that if I want to deliver this product, now you need to access this number and report about yourself. So this girl, when she accessed this number was directed to some other call, and she answered everything which the person wanted. So immediately he wanted her to come on the video conference. And when she went on the video conference, this person was wearing a dress which is similar to Chinese police, and he was also wearing the name of a particular commissioner or whatever it be. And he started threatening, saying that there is an online parcel for you, and this online parcel has some illegal material. Because it has some illegal material, you will be arrested now and you will be put into the jail, or better you pay a fine of this much of amount. So this girl actually, without knowing that this is a bogus person, and the line, whatever be the helpline given, was not a fake, it is a fake line, without knowing anything, because she accessed one particular online for platform for a class, she was trapped. And then what happened, like, this girl paid around $70,000 of amount as fine. And finally, then she found it is not police. She was actually ransomed by some other person. Similarly, when we go, like, for example, when we go to online purchase, nowadays what happens, like, because of this threatening of COVID, we don't go to buy something, even if a shoe, or even if a pen, or even if a gloves or N95 mask, we don't go to the shop. We better prefer to buy it online. So what happens when you go to particular online websites, even I myself have experienced and I have complained. So what happened, like, when you go to the particular website's link, you click and you order for the product. The moment you order for the product, you will get 100 numbers of calls stating that similar to this, you have this, you have this, you have this, etc. Okay, and what happens sometimes, one of the victim last week, what happens, she accessed one particular online website to purchase certain things. Okay, and what happened, because of COVID, these online websites have come out with no cash on delivery, but only pay before hand. You have to pay online, because they don't want to have one-to-one touch with the the person who is going to serve and the receiver. So what they did, they actually opted for no for cash on delivery, and she paid it through the credit card. And immediately after she paid through the credit card, her credit card was actually on risk, and amount was taken from her credit card immediately by various people. And that is a very well known online web store. So these types of crimes are increasing because of COVID, and not more than more than that, the crimes against women and children is also increasing because of COVID in online media. Okay, because people are at home and they start accessing this cyberspace, because they want to kill their time, they want to kill their boredom, and then they want to kill their monotonous habits, and they want to change their moods. That, like, because of COVID, many people are in a kind of depression. So in order to go out of depression, they go into social media, they try to contact people, or they spend more time in the. In fact, I have seen my own friends who normally spend 1 hour time in the social media. Now they spend even more than 1 hour. In fact, I find them almost online in the social media. So what happens, like, you try to interact with strangers, then, like, you try to do a lot of activities in the social media. So in turn, what happens, people become victimization through social media during this COVID period. And in some of the places in India, in some districts in India, or some cities in India, it has seen that from March to June, there is a steep increase in the cyber crimes happening across the country. In fact, one of the police officer, UP police officer, he has actually predicted that the cyber crimes will be on rise until the COVID is existing, and after this lockdown is being released fully, there will be an increase in the normal pattern of crimes. So, like, there is a possibility that the online crimes can go on high during this COVID period. So it will affect the organizations, it will affect the individuals, both of them. Okay, so how careful we are going to be of using online space or cyberspace during this COVID will increase the risk of cybercrime.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable inputs regarding current scenario. And thank you so much for such an interacting and informative session during this curfew, granting the whole new aspect about the topic. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking time off your schedule to be with us and for sharing the valuable information with us on this topic. I'm sure that everyone here has gained lots of knowledge from this session. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope it was useful to everyone, and we'll meet again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks to everyone who all attended this session. Stay tuned for more and more webinars to sculpture yourself and make this lockdown a useful point. That brings us to the end of the session. For future webinars, please visit our website page and other social media platform like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Stay home, stay safe, and maintain social distancing. Bye.